Right, I've gone live. I've gone live anyway.
What episode are we at?
Oh yeah, I got to change the title.
So, I'm going to hit that before.
Yeah, I need to edit.
I'm going to keep refreshing the YouTube tab until it says we're live. Oh, it already says we're live.
Yes, sir.
Oh, episode 9 is it?
No, I'm changing
I
that.
don't think so.
And I need to get rid of the Yugi for all bit in there. He's had his time. Get out of here. I'm only joking. If you're watching, we love you.
Yeah, Josh, you were sick, man. No, yeah. Nice guy. I'd go for a beer with him. Not a Canadian beer, though. An actual beer.
Oof.
I don't like beer. I'd have a cider. I'll have a cider.
No.
Never cider.
Let me unplug that so I can read any comments that we may or may not receive. I just heard you go, oh, episode. Right, let me start. Let me full screen this bad boy.
What?
To boot it up. Ready to watch. Drop my phone.
Is there a way so I can just see the comment section of
Yes, I like that you typed yo yo yo, you loner. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're good. Are we good? Well, it's not midnight yet. We've got 1 minute until we have to.
the video? Okay, I can see the comments now, the thing, because I'm recording already.
Swag one.
Swag 1 from Dom. How you doing, man?
Swag 115.
Swag 115?
My laptop's handling the animation a bit better this time around. I'll rate that. Good for you. 4 people in the chat say holla. Don't put holla in the chat.
Hello.
I've been looking fancy with my new setup. No one can see me. I've just realised that.
No one can actually see it.
Yeah. Alright, well, it's midnight, so I am going for it. So I need to do like that. Oh, for God's sake, Eddie. Right. And just like that, we should be seen. So, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of the Midnight Club podcast. I have survived 2.5 months of Jack.
Oh, yeah, I know. How have we done this?
Yeah, I haven't killed you yet either, so that's good. That's good.
I know. I'm impressed. Well done.
So what's new with Jack this week?
This week's been an interesting one. I'm not going to skim over every detail of it.
Please don't.
It's been the new difficulties and adventures thrown away. However, it's made it interesting. It kind of all happened at the perfect time. I took myself away from online activities, streaming, etc. for this coming weekend. This current weekend.
Yeah, I could tell.
And it kind of worked out at perfect timing. So yeah, it's been quite nice to chill when I can.
Yeah.
And the main reason I sort of did it, and I'm finding out which is good, is I'm sat here and I'm like, I just want to stream non-stop this weekend. I'm not going to do it, but
that's good.
I've got that passion for it. I've got that burn to do it. So
Abby says hey, and unknown user says hey Ginger Ninja, which I can only assume is, I don't know.
I don't know. But
I think I know, but if it says unknown user, then I assume I know. But yeah. So you've had an eventful week.
It has been an eventful week, but we're still here, and we're here for the podcast.
We certainly are.
Yeah. How's your week been?
Eventful as well. Every week's eventful. I looked like I was looking at something, then I wasn't. No, so I got an Xbox. I am a traitor to the boys, the PlayStation boys.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm not. I'm disgusted, but I have it. Oh, okay. Sorry, I read comments. But literally, buy the Xbox. We need to go shopping. Down to my car.
Oh no.
I was like, oh, you are fucking kidding me. Turns out I just had a flat battery, but I just went to work and like, and he was like, yeah, just plug this into your car, you'll be fine. I was like, bang, did it. Now it works.
No.
But honestly, the heart drop was real. I was like, oh.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But it is what it is. We move.
Yeah.
So we do have a few topics this week for a change.
We do. We actually came prepared, within reason.
Within reason. So,
Within reason, yeah.
I don't know how many people have watched it. Go straight for the killer here. Haha.
Straight for the killer, yeah.
Yeah. Orca word. Oh god, terrible. But no, so hold on. Your light's changing colour as that's meant to be. Bruh, you dumb. Yes, they are supposed to change colour. So, Seaspiracy on Netflix. I'll let you do a brief summary of it, because you watched it a bit sooner than I did.
Yeah, so it's a documentary. I believe it's Netflix exclusive.
Ooh, is it? Oh, well, yeah, I suppose it is, yeah.
Yeah, and terribly, actually, I can't remember the guy's name.
No, nor can I.
But it's a guy who basically gives the overview that when he was younger, he loved going and seeing like whales and dolphins at these aquatic shows. And he grew up loving them, and then he wanted to do a bit of an insight into actually the background of like whale hunting, fishing, and such, and kind of some of the atrocities of the fishing industry and other sides of like marine life and how we treat our oceans. And there are some pretty grim insights in there.
A slow side note: have you seen the other documentary on sea life? I can't remember what it's called.
I haven't.
It's awful. I hate like not sea life, Sea World.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ali is his name apparently.
Okay, yeah. And the first thing I want to say about the whole documentary, there isn't really a note on the content of the documentary, but one of the things he said, and it comes really across as he's kind of he's a photographer and a very small-time filmmaker. Yeah. And fair play to the guy. He's obviously been picked up by Netflix. Your camera is struggling.
Yeah, we've lost a light as well. Hey,
oh yeah.
Get on. Sorry about that. Yeah, my camera's really struggling.
He's obviously very much an independent filmmaker, photographer.
Yeah.
And he's done this. And it is a very, very well-made documentary.
I'd say so.
And he's obviously been picked up by Netflix, and congratulations to him. Whether or not the content is what you think about what's within it, I think you have to give props to the guy. I don't know how fully it works, but it looks like he's gone out and he's just made his own thing, and then he's been picked up by it. Is what it seems like.
Yeah, I think it was really good, personally.
I thought it was very well made. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, does he get the interviews that he should have? Probably not. There should have been a few more. Like, it focuses here, but as soon as you come back, it's like, nah. Now I'll sit here for the rest of the book. It's really bugging me. I hate when things don't focus. Hello. Okay, there we go. There we go. So no, I thought it was very well made.
I think a big point to say, because obviously I mentioned about it being like fishing related. It didn't start off being fishing related. It started off about
plastic, wasn't it?
It wasn't even that. It was talking about just things like whales and dolphins, and it started off talking about in Japan the whaling.
Oh yeah, it did, didn't it? And he went to that like
culling and such.
Oh, he goes to that like little place, doesn't he? And they are literally everywhere, like police and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you froze for me. You just said yeah.
I said there we go. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah.
He starts off going to this cove in Japan, and he's interested in the fact that even though it's completely illegal around the world, the Japanese government were like, we don't care, we're going to allow whaling to continue.
Yeah.
So there's this cove that it happens, and he goes, and he sort of gives you an idea beforehand, saying the police will literally be around you, they don't let anyone in or out.
Yeah, he speaks to someone, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he goes, and he's driving in there.
He takes his girlfriend as well.
He takes his girlfriend, yeah. And within 5 minutes from entering this cove area in the car, the police have pulled him over, asking why he's there. And then there's police cars following him everywhere. There's police cars sat outside the police sat inside their cars at night outside their hotel.
Yeah.
It's a bit mad, really, isn't it?
Honestly, and he's like, the TVs are cameras.
Yes, yeah, everything's a camera.
Like, they are watching you. They do not want you there.
Yeah. And he does get into a spot eventually at the cove where he goes out early in the morning and he sees the people, let's say, fishing. where the boats are going off and whaling, and they're also hunting dolphins. They are.
Yeah, and they're like pushing like a pod of orcas, aren't they, or something, or like a pod of whales into the cove.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I want to be able to talk about every little single thing in this. However, I feel like that's going to be the entire podcast.
Yeah, well, it is like an hour and a half documentary.
I'd say there's like 5, maybe 6 big points that came up in there. I have written everything down, but
you're prepped.
The first one is that, and so he references back to the fact that when he was a kid, he used to go to places like SeaWorld, or that sort of classic sense of watching these shows. And fuck SeaWorld, losers. And he mentions the point about he never actually thought about where to get like these whales and dolphins from, and then it cuts again to sort of saying how like these Japanese trades are kind of where the dolphins come from, but it's 1 in every 13 hunted dolphin goes into this trade, and then for every 1 dolphin taken in, there's 12 killed, and they don't use it for anything.
Crazy,
it's just because they see dolphins as pests and they kill them all.
Yeah, they just can't be bothered to deal with it, so they just kill it and think like it's only going to happen again if we chuck it back. It's terrible though.
Yeah, it's terrible, and it was literally like it was like a spy movie when he was there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
a lot of it.
There was police everywhere.
It was so strange to see though, because that's so alien to us.
Yes.
But honestly, like he goes there and they are on him. Like as he's going in, the police pull him over, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And then when he says they all like have a discussion. They like stand there awkwardly for like 30 seconds, and they're like, "Okay."
Because he's just like, "Oh, I'm on holiday. We're on holiday," and they're like, "Oh, okay, you can go on." And
follow him.
Yeah, and so I watched it with Shannon. I think Shannon made a comment saying like, "Oh, he got away with it," and I said, "No, they're letting him go because there's now," and it was like 2 police cars following him wherever he drove at any given point, and it's like,
it was crazy. They were on him,
constantly on him. Yeah. And then he sort of went round some of the stores because it also showed about them with sharks, didn't it?
Yeah.
Where they'd been captured sharks for things like shark fin suit. Every single marketplace he went that had anything to do with it, camera was getting slapped out of his hands,
and they were like, "You can't film, you can't film." There was a bloke who tried to throw a chair at him. I loved him. The little Asian man. He was like, "Are you gonna throw that chair at me?" And he was like, "Rah, no filming."
The one that made us laugh a bit was he goes through like a market store bit, and there's loads of pallets of these shark fins or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's walking into this store thing with the camera, and the guy goes, "No filming, you can't see. Pushes him out the store, close the doors, and it's just pure glass doors.
Yeah. And he's like,
he stood there and he kind of looks, he's like, oh.
You can tell that he knows he's been an idiot. Because he shuts it and he's just like, oh.
And actually, something else to say, because like I said, there's these main points. It isn't like it flicks from point to point. It quite smoothly transitions between every conversation.
Yeah.
I never felt like, oh, he was talking about whales and dolphins, now it's about sharks. It's like,
no. It
just transitioned, and then it goes through a lot of different industries within fishing, such that it's very smooth transition. So.
The fact that like it didn't shock me as much as like, well, I said it didn't shock me. It shocked me more than I thought it would. Was when they like find out that the majority of plastic in the ocean is actually fishing nets. Because you don't think of it like that, do you? Because you think like fishing equipment's expensive. No. You wouldn't leave it behind, but they do. It's crazy.
Yeah. So didn't they say it was something like 43% of all plastic in the ocean?
Yeah.
In the ocean is
it's when he asked those women from that company, and they were like, "It's a majority."
Oh. Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, but it's not the majority of the plastics," and he's like, "Well, isn't over 50% of a majority?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, so it transitions then from the sharks bit. It transitions into like tuna fishing, isn't it?
And like how they're going extinct and stuff.
Yeah, and this is where there was the whole thing about because basically when they're fishing for tuna, they're picking up dolphins on accident. And then killing the dolphins. So he speaks to this guy from this tuna, like a company
my god, I love this
tuna
bloke.
into cans and such, and this is incredible. he's talking to this guy.
So before you go into it, just for some background context, if you buy a can of tuna, on the side there is a label, and on that label it says dolphin free or dolphin safe. And basically what it means is they have just caught tuna, and the only thing that is in your tuna is tuna fish. You're not getting like dolphin or what they call bycatch, which is like if they were to catch a shark, they just chuck it in with everything else and kill it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so he's talking to this guy, and he's going like, so you can guarantee that it's just tuna in there. That's what that label is. He goes, yes, that's absolutely what I guarantee. 100%. Like, I know that for sure. And he goes, how do you know that? And he goes, well, you know, our captains put a ledger every single time they catch a big thing that it's only tuna. He goes, well, what if the captains are lying because obviously they just want a payday, and what if they catch a dolphin, kill it, throw it offside, and they're like, oh yeah, it's dolphin free. And he's like, well, they could do that. And he goes, so you can't guarantee that it's dolphin free? And he goes, no, yeah, we can guarantee it. And he goes,
yeah, but the thing is, right? I'm pretty sure in that interview he says, so how many you send like someone out on every single ship? He goes, no, we send out about 18 a year.
Yeah,
and then
goes,
but they can be bribed.
Yeah, like, can they not be bribed by the captain? He goes, oh yeah. Like, really, just like, yeah, they can. And he goes, so you can't guarantee that it's dolphin free? And he goes, yeah, I can. Like, you know, there could be dolphins there. Like, we can't stop it, but I can guarantee it's dolphin free. And it was like,
right.
Okay.
He was so happy with himself. He's like, oh no, it's dolphin free. He's like, but you can't guarantee there's no dolphin in it. No, that'd be stupid. Abby said it's 40% of plastics in the ocean is fishing nets, not including buoys.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got very confused.
Yeah, I could see that on your face. You were like,
yeah,
buoys?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Buoys. And then it tangents, and this I found very interesting. It tangents into the conversation with the two women from the same company, or a different company, but they work for the same company.
Normal Lady and Karen.
Normal Lady and Karen, yeah. So this company, I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially to do. It's almost like a charity or a group that are obviously against plastics in the ocean. That's saying, you know, we need to get rid of this plastics in the ocean issue.
Yeah.
And he's like, awesome, fair enough. And he's talking to them, and they're saying about all these different plastics, and he says, oh, but isn't it true that majority of plastics in the ocean are fishing nets, fishing equipment and such? And the first lady he talks to, who seems nice enough,
yeah, she seemed okay.
She's like, she was like, oh, it's not a majority, but it basically, and a bit to and fro, but she's like, yeah, a lot of it is fishing nets and fishing equipment. And then he talks to her,
the owner,
because she said, oh, I'm not really meant to talk about that though, am I?
Yeah.
Or she goes like, yeah, and he goes, okay, and then he talks to like the owner.
Yeah, she says talk to like the CEO about it, because he said on your website there's absolutely nothing.
Yes.
About fishing nets. It's all about plastic straws and what like we're doing wrong. And she said, I'm probably not the person. I don't do the website, so speak to the CEO or the SEO or whatever she is.
It was like Anne or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was like the founder.
And he goes, well, obviously, so it makes up a huge percentage with fishing nets and stuff, but it's not on your website, why not? And she goes, no, it doesn't make up a big percentage, it's not fishing nets or anything at all. And he goes, but your colleague said it was.
Oh, yeah.
She said, that's not right.
She said, like, I can't remember what she said, her exact words, but she says those exact words, they clip it and re-show it. And she's like, my colleague would not have said that, I can guarantee you. I will promise you she did not say that. And he was like, okay.
They clipped the exact words he used, and that's what she had said.
But then they're all part of the dolphin safe like brand, aren't they?
Dolphin free.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're all owned by the same company, which is a fishing company. So he obviously clocks on that because they're owned by this fishing company, they don't want to say anything bad about fishing because it's going to lose.
This is why I've always said you have to be so careful when you give money to charity, because people will be like, oh yeah, I gave like £100 to this charity, and you're like, where did that money go? What have they done with it? And they're like, oh well, they help get plastic out in the ocean. What, by chucking in 60,000 fishing nets and just ditching them? Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Abby said they said to eliminate eating fish is the way to
Yeah.
reduce like what's going on in the oceans. So like,
That was yeah.
mm-hmm.
So the guy was saying, is it not true that the best way to eliminate plastic in the oceans is not eating fish? And they were like, no, that wouldn't work at all. That's not it.
Well, it was more environmentalist, wasn't it? It was more like to save the planet. It was better to not eat fish rather than to reduce plastics. It was better to not eat fish than it was to eat fish. And she was like, the best way to eliminate fishing, not fishing, to eliminate eating fish, which is fine by me because I don't eat fish. I think it's disgusting.
I like fish. I'll be honest.
I could stretch to a battered cod and chips. That's about as far as I'll go. But
I can't remember how it transitioned. There was a mad statistic on there as well that I saw, which was in something like the 1800s.
Yeah.
If fishermen went out into the ocean and did fishing for haddock.
Yeah.
They would catch 1 to 2 tons per every 3 hours.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I remember. Well, obviously I saw that. What a dick.
And nowadays they'd be lucky to catch 1 to 2 tons of haddock in a year.
And that was with like 12 shipping vessels, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, bro, there's no fish in the sea. Like,
no, but there is. But
haddock numbers are down by 99.8% or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. There was some other, like, I don't want to spend too long, but I think anyone who's even slightly interested in this should watch it. It's a very well made documentary.
Yeah,
and it's interesting.
I think it instigates some positive change as well, because the other thing they were saying was like how good for you like fish is supposed to be, like it's full of omega-3 and
yes,
and they were saying, well, basically it's terrible for you.
Yeah,
because
it's not good at all, and the omega-3 and stuff comes from like the algae that the fish eat.
Yeah,
it's not anything to do with the fish itself.
I mean, I'm not like too pushy on people. If someone's like, I want to eat fish, fair play, eat fish. Like, it's part of human life now. But the way that we fish is, well, it's like they say in there, it's not sustainable, or they're like sustainable fishing. They're like, okay, what's different? Well, nothing. Oh, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, how was it? What's the legal terms for sustainable fishing that they said was that it's? Everyone would see sustainable fishing as being like we're not destroying the planet or the oceans at all. We are just taking all that we need, but no more. But their sustainable was all money wise, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, because he went off with those like there's pirates that like protect people from illegal fishing in places they're not allowed to be, and they go on this like boat and they literally have like the entire height of the ship, just a massive tunnel down, just full of tuna.
Yeah.
Was it tuna? I think it was tuna.
Yeah, it was.
But
it's quite crazy. Like I think another thing to point out before anyone goes sprinting off at any point to watch this, it's well worth watching if you are at all queasy or you cannot stand watching animal violence or anything. It is very graphic to what happens to these animals. Like
with the whale hunt at the end.
I'm not a squeamish person. I can watch most things and be
I can't.
But I was sat watching it and thinking like, this is a tough watch.
Yeah, it's more sad than anything.
Yeah. So I mean, all of it is quite harrowing and quite like that's not nice.
Yeah.
But there's the one section specifically, and it's where is it based? Am I right in saying it's like Scandinavia, like North Europe?
I think I'm right in saying it was either Norway or Greenland.
It was one, yeah.
I think it was Norway. I think I'm thinking Greenland because of a question on the Chase the other day. I think it was Norway.
I think it was Norway. We may well have seen Magnog in this video, but I don't think so.
The lady Mag.
He goes to this place, and they've basically told, and they're quite open about the fact that they believe they've got the most sustainable way of killing whales. And stuff.
Yeah.
In itself, an outrageous statement, but you keep an open mind with it. And basically, what they do is like a whole town. Again, they've got a bit of a cove. They get the boats out. They chase 20 to 30 whales. I think
it was a lot. Yeah.
I could see. Like, 30 plus almost definitely whales into this cove, get out, kill these whales,
just slice them up,
slice them up, take their fins, take their tails, slice their heads off, and it's this guy obviously said that like his favorite animals are whales. He loves them, and they were more than happy for him to video everything to see what's going on, because they genuinely are seeing it as like, we're not doing anything terrible. This is a sustainable way of doing this.
Bro, there was some bloke who took his kid. No, it wasn't in Scotland. That was not in Scotland. I'd be asked. But no, he was just there with his kid, and his kid was like looking down on this whale that was just like drenched in blood. Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, and it was harrowing. And again, the power of editing does do magnificent things, and he did very well in how he made it. But it was a very difficult watch.
Yeah,
but
it could have been worse.
The guy he then spoke to about it was very interesting in the way of making a point that you can understand it in ways. So the filmmaker sat down with one of the people that does this and said, you know, why? How can you do this? How is this sustainable? How can you
was a salmon farming
animal? And he said, for every one whale that we kill, it's the equivalent in weight and meat and such of about 2,000 chickens.
Wasn't it 10,000? I thought it was 10,000.
I think it was 2,000.
Oh.
It was
a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a big number. And he was like, I wouldn't be able to kill 2,000 chickens, but I can kill one whale. This one whale is more sustainable. It can feed people 10,000 meals, let's say.
Yeah.
Whereas chickens are worth 10,000 chickens, 10,000. You know, that sort of thing. And the guy even said afterwards, he said, I couldn't agree with the killing of the whales, but what he said made sense.
Yeah.
And it did. It resonated in a way of thinking, actually...
It's a very valid point. Like, we look at it because it's a whale, like, oh my god, that's terrible. But then, like, apparently, this is one for next week maybe, there's something on Netflix now called Cowspiracy.
Shannon said about that.
Yeah, so I wonder if that would be worth a watch.
She might have watched it, or she seen about it, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw about it. But I just thought...
Yeah.
He makes a point, you know, we are at a stage now of agriculture where literally I would love to know the statistics on how many like cows and chickens get killed a day for food, because it will be it's got to be at least in the millions, probably more in the billions. But did you watch the David Attenborough thing? There was a David Attenborough his life story.
No, I haven't watched David Attenborough stuff in so long, and I need.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, and literally they take. Yeah, and they take like a helicopter over these fields, and I have never seen so many cows in my life. Like, honestly, the whole ground is just like brown from where it's just all cattle to be killed, like for food, and I was like, jeez. And I don't eat a lot of meat. I wouldn't say. Abby might say differently. I eat pepperoni on a pizza fairly often, and I buy like 2 chicken breasts a week. That's all I eat meat wise. But
I've always been quite vocal when it comes to animals as food source. I eat meat. I'm quite happy. You know, I've always said like I can understand why people would
pizza, please, mate.
I can understand why people go vegan, and morally I think being vegan is probably the best thing. But I just eat meat. But more in the way of vegan versus non-vegan, I have this idea about how different nations put certain animals above others. So there's some animals you can eat and some you can't. So let's say to us in the Western world, you don't eat what we see as pets.
Yeah.
Animals, dogs, cats, you know, animals that we've domesticated. Whereas if you go to various Asian countries, it's the dumb thing, and their range of food sources from animals is so much larger than ours. Like, and we as a Western culture look over towards like the Eastern culture, and we're like, how can you eat that? We see that as disgusting. Why would you eat that animal?
Yeah.
To them, it's so normal, and I think actually, like that's just a difference in cultures. At the end of the day, as a human race, like we eat every single animal. Like there's a really, really interesting sort of story from history. You know the Galapagos tortoise? It's like the biggest breed of tortoise on the planet.
Yeah.
the huge ones. I don't know the exact dates. It took something like 40 years from their discovery or 20 or 30 years or in that region from their original discovery on the Galapagos Islands to finally get one back to England to actually give it like a proper name.
Yeah.
Because whenever they tried to take them on the boats back, they were seen as being like the meat as being so tasty
Really?
that none of them made them back. Everyone would eat them before they got back.
Jesus.
And it's like, but now I wouldn't think about eating tortoise. That seems crazy to me.
It's just one of those things. Like, I remember once my mum and dad were like, oh, we're gonna have a barbecue tonight. Buzzing. Who doesn't love a barbecue? We're British. It's what we live for. Oh, Abby said it was the Faroe Islands where they went to do the whale hunt.
Ah, yes.
And we'll go on to the slavery in fishing in a minute. But no, so Dad goes, right, barbecue tonight, buzzing. Been down the butcher's. Okay. Yeah, so we got some zebra sausages. And some like kangaroo. It's either kangaroo burgers or kangaroo steaks or something.
Kangaroo steaks are quite common.
And I was like, I'm not eating this. But it was actually, it was okay. You know, I had a little try and I was like, there. But it's...
Do you want to know? You're gonna hate me for this. You're gonna be sick. So one of my favourite like treats.
Oh no, bad stuff.
Whenever I used to go around my nan's for like Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, Christmas morning breakfast would be like cow tongue or ox tongue sandwiches.
I'm out.
Honestly, it's incredible.
Well, that is the thing. It's like crocodile to us is a bit like, ugh. But you go to Florida and they're serving it up like it's bloody chicken.
Yeah.
Frog's legs are the same, you know.
Snails.
Yeah, I mean, we are terrible as a race, but then at the same time, we are top of the food chain and we're predators at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you saw a fox eat another animal, you wouldn't be like, oh, mate, you've got to start eating more plants. You're, like, really doing us in here. But the thing is, and what it always will come down to, is we are overpopulated.
Oh, yeah.
Massively overpopulated. Like, there is no way that with the way that the Earth is, like, developing, that it's going to survive. There's not a chance in hell.
I'm just going to Google something.
Uh-oh. Let me try and move my camera again, see if it'll focus. Wee, I've got the tricks.
So this is insane. So I'm looking at, we're saying about being overpopulated. I'm looking from 1960 at the world population, right?
Yeah.
1960 is at 3.031 billion.
I think we're on 7.6 now, aren't we?
So by 1975, so 15 years from that, it's
Well,
up to
we
4
are
billion.
educational on this podcast. Just remember this.
Yeah. Another 12 years up to 5 billion. Another 12 years up to 6 billion.
It's crazy.
And we're now at 7.6 billion, and that was at 2019.
I got that right.
That means in, what's that? 2019, 14, 59 years, we have over doubled the population of Earth.
That's crazy.
That's what? Like, just what?
I mean, I suppose we'd be in a different situation if it wasn't for the wars, because they did take a lot of lives.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we're in big trouble.
Yes.
I tell you, this is one thing that I will say that parenthood has brought to me. I look at the world now, and I think, bloody hell, it's so different to when I was younger. Like, honestly, like, how is my child going to grow up and be like a decent person?
Yeah.
Because, like, when we were young, if you wanted to find something out, you'd have to read a book. You'd have to go through a textbook, or you'd have to go to your library and you'd have to read through it. Now you just go, "Hey Siri," and that's it. Alexa.
Technology is insane.
It's amazing and it's also terrible. We are heading towards Wall-E, Prime Wall-E.
the average smartphone is 12 times more powerful than the computer system that sent man to the moon.
That's a scary thought. But it's all about control, isn't it? Like, there's so much control that goes on behind the scenes. I'm not going to get too into it because I'm going to sound like I'm blooming conspiracy theory, which we need to do a podcast on, by the way.
We do, yeah.
Get me into the 9/11. Get me into the 9/11 stuff. I've got all sorts on that.
That's my one, boy. That's my one.
Maybe we should get into that in a minute. But let's get off our tangent. We're tangenty boys. There's a lot of slavery and fishing.
Yeah, so this is the last major point really from that documentary, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
So it starts off. Is he talking? It was about the prawn or shrimp fishing, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It was three. And it's mainly he based it around in Thailand, and it was quite insane that he was speaking to, I think it was two people.
Yeah.
Obviously these ex-fishermen, these Thai fishermen.
I don't know.
He sat down and talked to them and discussed stuff with them. They had to be completely blacked out and they had to have their voices changed.
Yeah.
Almost like, you know, like witness protection on these crime documentaries.
It was like that.
Like
yeah.
It was that. And I'm thinking, this seems so stupid. Like, these are fishermen. And then they start getting into the stories and what actually goes on. And I was like, right. Okay.
And then the police turn up or are on their way and they're like, right, we have to go because someone had rang the police on them.
Yeah, someone rang the police on them whilst doing these interviews and they literally had to hightail it out of the building and hide in the back of the car while they tried to get them out of the town.
It's crazy.
So basically, in that area at least, the fishing trade is it's basically slavery.
Yeah, it's basically slavery. Your salmon's grey and they colour it.
Yeah, so they said that a lot of them get hired by if they're just down drinking at the pub, and the captain of a ship or such will walk around and be like, "Oh, we've got a job going on the ship,"
and he's really lovely.
The minute you're on the boat and you're in the water, he will beat you. You'll get abused for the slightest mistakes, murdered, thrown overboard.
And they just cover it over by saying, "Oh yeah, he was sick and he fell overboard."
Fell overboard. They get murdered and they hide the bodies down in the lower dockings.
It's crazy.
And there was also the story about there was the woman who was meant to be an overseer on one of these ships to say whether what they were doing was legal or not. And she got back and obviously said, "Oh no, what they're doing isn't right." And a mob went round her house and murdered her and her family.
They didn't murder her family. They left the family alive. They just shot her in front of her kids.
That was it. So yeah, shot her in the head in front of her kids.
Which is clearly not better. We're not saying it's better. But I just wanted to make sure that the story was correct.
Yeah, and the guy was saying like, what if I went on a boat with someone and we went near these fishing boats? What happened? They were like, "You'll get shot."
Yeah, like, they were like, "No, don't do it. If you want to die."
We're not even going to tell you where these boats are because then they might know who we are.
Yeah.
We're not getting involved. We're going to die.
What's your beef? Oh, the battery's come out.
No.
Hold on. No, you carry on. I just need some more blue tack.
But yeah, so... And I feel guilty because I love a prawn sandwich.
I don't.
Sandwich. Oh, I fucking love it.
I'm not a fish man.
Prawn sandwich is the one for me. But listening to it, and I was like, fucking hell.
It's crazy. You don't know what's going on in the world. Like, but the scariest thing to me was when they went to that like little village, and literally straight away they were on them, watching them on the telly. They knew when they were waking up, like they knew the conversations they were having. You're like, Jesus, but that's what your phones are like. Now I've been talking to Dom about Game Pass a lot. I go on YouTube and every single advert, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. I was like, what?
Yeah. The conversations I've had with Shannon about like, oh, I'm interested in this, and then all Facebook adverts.
Yeah.
This, and I'm like.
And we were talking about South Park at work, and I got home.
I'm like,
and it was
alright, Wish, I don't need this. I actually need this.
Oh, it's crazy. I don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm keen to get into the 9/11 conspiracy theories now, boy.
it's such an inside job, isn't it? Let's be
Oh,
honest.
come on, yeah, 100%.
Like,
A multi-millionaire buys the buildings and takes out insurance on them, and a few days later they go, oh, that's fishy. There's 3 buildings that went down as well.
yes, there is.
And no one speaks about the other one that was down the road. That's completely forgotten.
What's it? HT Tower 4 or something? Isn't it?
It's something like that. It's got a name.
Yeah.
But that went down, and no one speaks about that.
No.
Like, that's never covered. I've been to Ground Zero. I've actually been there.
Yeah, so you've been in New York, haven't you?
Yeah, it's
I've
big.
I've heard it's one of the most unexpectedly harrowing things you can see.
It would have been a bit better, but there was a really weird bloke there, and he was obviously drunk and he was smoking a lot, and he was like came over to me and who I was with at the time. He was like, "My fucking dad died in there. That's his name," and we were like, He was like, "Yeah," and then he's like kept like walking around it, going like, and I was like, I really feel like something ain't right here. Like, I need to leave. But it's crazy. Yeah, that whole thing is crazy. I can't wrap my head around that.
And it's just how there'd been 5 years worth of the Americans calling out for more military budget.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and the military budget skyrockets up.
That, and there was supposed to be an attack on the Pentagon as well, wasn't there? And weirdly, all the cameras stopped working for that 5 minutes. They've never gone down since, and they've never gone down before. But for those particular 5 minutes, they all drop. Yeah.
Have you
all
seen?
Right.
I need to find out what's the name of the film of the one flight. The one flight that was hijacked, and they managed to get into the passengers managed to get in the cockpit, and they purposely darted the plane to the ground so it didn't hit a building or anything. I need to find this.
Dom's in chat. Dom's always good with these things. He'll be straight on it. Yeah, we don't live in a very good world, I wouldn't say. I'd say there's a lot more evil nowadays than there is good. And it's very sad that the day-to-day good person seems to have disappeared. As Jack is frantically Googling. It's been tough. Been a tough old year for everyone, but it's only getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah. United 93.
Never heard of it.
No, that might not be it.
Nath, I've got your lights up, by the way.
Yeah, so it's called United 93, made in 2006. It's basically about United Flight 93.
Yeah.
Where 4 of the terrorists did take over the plane that hijacked it. It was meant to be another one that hit a building.
Yeah.
And the passengers actually managed to reclaim the cockpit. It was a bit too late, and they just dashed the plane into the ground, killed themselves all off, just to stop it getting into a populated area. And it's like, it's a powerful film.
Dom just said the building that we were talking about. He said it was apparently set for demolition that day, and the guy who did the last checks on it said the charges were set in a really strange way. But then the way the actual buildings collapse is like a demolition. It's not like
it is.
It's not like an impact collision that brings it down. It's literally because it's only the top few floors that are on fire, but it goes from the bottom down, doesn't it?
It's there and then just jumps down
from the bottom. So it goes from the bottom and just goes. But you think if your attic in your house set fire, your whole house wouldn't collapse. It would burn from the top and go down. It's BS. It's BS. I'm calling it Bush. Bush.
It's crazy.
Bush did now.
Within talking about this, the one thing I've always wanted to say is I no disrespect to anyone affected by the 9/11
No,
attacks,
God, no.
Because I do think when you get into conspiracies like this where a lot of people died, it is tough to not come across as just sounding very outrightly rude about the situation and ignorant. But we're not saying this is a bunch of just idiot conspiracy theorists from the UK. This is
A, I would say a very clear inside job.
Yeah.
And B, it's one of those things that if that something like that had happened to my family, I would want to know every single thing I could about it. Because like you can't replace a life. They might be like, oh yeah, well we gave them all money and stuff, but that doesn't replace a life. No amount of money will replace that person. Simple as that.
No.
You know, it's like Abby has life insurance, and it's like, yeah, well, what's the point? Like, if you were to die, I wouldn't be like, oh yay, money.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
so we're talking about, let's say, weird American conspiracy theories and such. And this is
hold on,
like
let me get my seatbelt.
No, it's not so much conspiracy theory, but it's weird coincidence. Have you ever seen the links between Abraham Lincoln and JFK?
No.
Okay, I'm going to blow everyone's mind if they haven't seen this. Anyone who has seen it, I feel like Don might have seen this. This is insane. So, hold on. Coincidences between JFK and Abe Lincoln. This.
Oh yeah, Dom said that there's also anti-air turrets set up by the Pentagon that apparently weren't working. The part of the Pentagon that got hit was apparently emptied a day before or two for refurbishment. Oh, yay! Yeah. It's so bollocks. I'm sorry, but how many coincidences do you need to happen in one like space of like a few hours? Yeah.
Right. Are you ready for this?
Hold on, let me get my seatbelt back on. Yep. I'm in.
It is weird. Basically, there's, I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but there's some weird stuff between the mainly the assassinations of JFK and Lincoln, but just Lincoln in general. So it starts off and you're just like, oh, this is so stupid, and it gets insane. So it starts off, Lincoln and Kennedy each have 7 letters in their name.
Okay.
Both presidents were elected to Congress in 46 and later to the presidency in 60. So Abe Lincoln was 1846 elected to Congress, 1860 presidency, and then Kennedy was the same but in the 90s.
Yeah.
Both married women in their 20s whilst themselves in their 30s.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Both lost a son while living in the White House. Bit odd, fair enough.
Bit odd, but happens.
Both were shot in the presence of their wives.
Deserve it.
Both assassins, John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, were born in 39 of the respective century, and were known by their 3 names, composed 15 letters.
Okay.
Again, weird numbers, and you're thinking whatever. Yeah. Booth ran from Ford's Theatre and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from the Dealey Plaza warehouse and was caught in a theatre. It's got this. Both presidents were runners-up for the party's nomination for vice president in 56.
Yeah.
Both successors were Southern Democrats, surnames Johnson. Both were born in 08, and their first names contain 6 letters.
Okay.
The assassins were both Southerners.
Yeah, obviously.
That one... both were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both made their views strongly known in 63. That's another weird one. Both presidents were shot in the head on a Friday and died at nearby locations. Lincoln at Peterson House across the street and Kennedy at Parkland Memorial Hospital down the road. Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theatre. Kennedy was shot in a Ford car, a Lincoln limousine. Yeah. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who told him not to go to Ford's Theatre. Kennedy had a secretary named Evelyn Lincoln. Yeah. And she warned him not to go to Dallas. Both Oswald and Booth were assassinated before they could be put on trial. I believe there's some other ones.
I mean, there's a lot of weird coinkydinks, especially as her name was Lincoln. That one I enjoyed.
There's others in that I don't think have been picked up, and I'm just going to have. Let's see if there's any more that were here.
The whole... everything in this world is fucked. Okay, here's a question for you, right? and this is what's made me think of it. Do you believe in the whole thought of like a multiverse type thing?
What, that there's a possible
outcome for like everything?
I don't know.
It could be possible, but then you've got to think of how tiny we are. Like, we are tiny.
I completely agree with the fact that I think we're tiny. There is no chance ever that we are the only life to have ever existed. Like,
no.
outside of Earth, or within Earth life to be the only life that exists.
No.
That is just factually cannot be to me.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
but I don't agree about the multiverse thing.
If Abby's still here, we watched this. I think it was just called Planets, to be honest with you. I think it's Stephen Cox who presents it. Is that his name?
Professor Brian Cox.
Ah, that's it. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, and he said, I think it was either Mercury or Venus, and it was like supposed to be Earth's twin, and it was literally exactly the same as Earth, like literally so much water on it, so much land.
Okay.
But I can't remember what happened to it. Something happened to it.
I think that would probably be I think Venus.
Yeah, I think it's Venus. But it was like, it was so close to Earth, and you think how much life would have been there.
Yeah.
And yeah, how many, like, the weirdest thing that I've ever, like, when you look at conspiracy theories and stuff, is the pyramids. The pyramids are beyond anything else. Like,
there is no fathomable way that the pyramids could have ever been built by humans
without any help, without like cranes, without anything like that. There is no way. They're so precisely built, aren't they? And there was something to do with like the way they point. I can't remember what that is, but it's crazy.
So,
honestly crazy.
And the time span they were built in as well, wasn't it? Someone like crunched all the numbers on it, and it could only have possibly been done if there was something like 2 million workers working 24/7 for 4 years straight. It was something mad like that.
Yeah, it's pretty much like how you'd have to earn Cristiano Ronaldo if you just got coins on FIFA.
Yeah,
you'd have to.
I don't know, these days, but it's a bit more possible.
I don't know. Someone did the numbers. Like I'm pretty sure someone did the numbers to work it out as like you'd have to do. So the game, obviously, before the new FIFA comes out, I think you'd have to like play the game like without sleeping pretty much for like 120 days.
Oh, is this just playing matches?
Yeah, just playing matches. Yeah.
Oh,
you got no hope.
No.
Oh, there you go. So Mercury had an atmosphere, but it got hit with a rock out of the orbit.
Ah.
It's really interesting, but the only problem is, as soon as like a documentary doesn't start with Edward Attenborough, it's like...
I'll tell you, Professor Brian Cox, I think, is so interesting.
Yeah, he's an intelligent bloke.
Yeah, and I think he's good at not seeming condescending and actually making it relatively fun.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I'd had like a Professor Brian Cox as a teacher.
Oh God, yeah. So blooming. Not even gonna name names. Sorry, my garden. My neighbour's lights come on in their garden. Last time it came on, we had to ring the police because there's a big old domestic going on.
Oh God. Okay. Is it ours? Is that our lights?
No. But I think in perspective, like, and this is one thing that always, like, I'm quite a depressed person as it is, but this is one thing that like gets me sometimes, is that we put so much thought, so much energy into like having this life, and it's absolutely meaningless in the grand scheme of things. Like, I could have like a really shit day, be really upset about something, like, oh no, I can't believe that's happened, and I'll be upset about it the whole day, and I'm like, what a waste of time, because it literally means nothing. If I were to like look at the like grand scheme of life, I'd be like, does that really matter? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. But we are pretty meaningless things, creatures. And although our lives are important to us, no one else cares. Dogs do. Dogs are great, but other than dogs...
Dogs are brilliant. If you ever want a reason to live, like, dogs will show you exactly why you're the best.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes the dog basically want to come up here and blooming hang myself from the ceiling. Honestly, it does. He gets so bound in, he starts biting you, and you're like, I just want to cuddle. Why are you biting me? And he's not a small dog. He's like a horse.
No, yeah. He's got big.
But he's learning now. Like, he obviously has no intention to harm you, but he knows what he's doing. He's so intelligent, it hurts, and he will pinch with his bite. So he uses just his front teeth. They're not sharp, but he pinches, and you're like, oh, you little bastard.
It's like when you catch your skin between like two tables at school.
It actually is, yeah. Or if you ever, I don't suppose you ever got it caught in a padlock or anything like that.
No.
It hurts different.
No.
Oh, we've got a gate at work. When you shut it, there's like a hole in the gate, like a little hole like this. And I got my thumb stuck in it once. I pushed it, and they like trapped it, and I was like, ugh, ugh. But no, the dogs are crackhead. Absolutely.
Pretty much.
But he is great. When he's lovely, and he's like good as gold with Oscar. But oh god, sometimes I could murder him. He's so smart.
Right, we've managed to do an hour's worth of podcast on quite deep topics.
It has been deep. Should we talk about my dog escaping? Would that cheer you up?
It would. I'll say this is the Midnight Club podcast. we talk like idiots about stuff.
Well, here you go. Here's a fun idiot story for you.
Just a quick finish off. Watch that Seaspiracy documentary.
Yeah, please do. If you've got a spare hour and a half.
Yeah, big congratulations to the fellow that made it. He did very, very well.
Yeah, he smashed it. Absolutely. So, we go to the co-op. I fancy some Soleros because I'm fat. Okay.
Soleros are the best ice cream.
They bang. Abby doesn't like them.
The tropical ones, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, the top tier, that's so good.
They hit different. But no. So we go. Bear in mind, we walked to the co-op, so you know that's like, what, minute?
Yeah.
In, probably spent 45, 50 seconds in the shop, because it was very targeted. We know what we were getting. Boosh, boop, out. Come home, walking home, and the blokes at the garage stop us. You looking for your dog? I was like, no. Went to the shop to get ice cream. I think he might have gotten out. And I was like, well, impossible. I locked the back door. I left the garden open for him. But we have a shed, it's like a door. And it's got like a latch that you have to like push across and push down. Bear in mind, you have to pretty much lift the gate up to be able to even like wiggle it.
Yeah.
He bloody opened it, didn't he? And she said, and he was like, oh, I said, your dog's like with those people in that black van. He's in the back of the van. So I thought, they were lovely. They were honestly, they were lovely. But so I said to Abby, I said, right, there's no way it's our dog. Coincidence. So I said, what we'll do is we'll go in the house, we'll unlock it. If he's not there, we'll go to the van.
Yeah.
Walk down the drive. Who do I see sat at the bottom with two people? I was like, what are you doing? They were like, oh, he's so lovely. I was like, he just ran out on the main bloody road. What do you mean he's lovely? And they were like, oh yeah, but you know, as soon as we went close to him, he ran and sat by your front door. So it's like, you know, he brought us home and he's so nice. And I was like, he's an escape artist, and he's getting a smack on the bum. I'll tell you that. Abby said it's a bolt, like the door's like a literal like.
Yeah.
But
we couldn't leave our dog out in the back garden, because so you know where I used to live.
Yeah.
Don't you? So for people that don't know, where we live is it's not a main road. It's like a cul-de-sac road. At the end of the road, about 200 meters up the road, you kind of go onto a path. It's a really small path. It is quite a big park where we normally walked our dog, let her go running around, and then literally just with a little metal fence between that is the school that my mum works.
Yeah.
You can like see into the school, and people in the school can see into the park, and so we always took my dog to the same park. She loved it. We let her run around, and then obviously I'd go to school. My mum would go to work at the school. And then it started off one time that my mum got a phone call, or someone just saying like, "Oh, your dog is in the park, I think," and she'd be like, "No, the dog's in the back garden. She's not in the park." And they'd be like, "I would have a look. I think it's your dog," and it was our dog. It was things. And she was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" She had to run the dog back.
Checking in the back garden.
And the gate had actually, it looks like the gate had swung open. So we were like, right, okay. It's just a little one of the twisty handle.
Oh, yeah.
Thing. Really easy one. So she was like, "Oh, I must not have closed it properly. It must have just been." So the next day, same thing happened. And she was like, "What is going on?" And the gate was still closed. She went back and the gate was closed. We were like, right, what's going on? And underneath the gate, you've got like the actual path, the laid path with things. Yeah. And there's a little thing. Now, tell you what, my dog was, she was a staffy.
Yeah, she wasn't
so she's
small.
Quite chunky. No. And there was about that wide, so what, 4 or 5 inches, maybe.
Woohoo.
There, I hope.
Ooh la la.
There was like gravel along the side of the actual path bit that went underneath the gate as well. She'd been digging underneath the gate and getting out.
Smart.
So we were like, right, we need to sort this out. So we got I think it was my granddad actually came around at the time, and he fixed it up with a bit of concrete so she couldn't get under that bit. And we were like, right, good, fine. A couple of weeks passed and it happened again. We were like, right, how the hell is she getting out now? Like, how on earth is she ever getting out?
Yeah.
And it turns out she dug underneath the fence, in like through the mud. Actually dug a full-on, pretty much tunnel to get under our fence into our neighbour's garden to then get out underneath their gate. And every time she just waddled herself up to the park, had a bit of a run around until my mum took her home.
They're so
and we
smart.
Were like, I know, and we were like, right, we're just gonna leave her. We're gonna tell her off. We're not gonna let her out in the garden for ages. We're gonna, after a couple of weeks, try it again, because that was the easiest thing for us.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah.
Being staffy, we didn't really want to leave her in the house at all. And we tried it one more time, and it seemed to be going well. Mum didn't get a call from her school saying,
your dog's in the park again, playing football.
Your dog's out. And then she got home, and it was a few days later, and everything seemed to be going well. A few days later, someone who lived over the road from us said, "Oh, by the way, do you know that your dog's been getting out?" And my mum was like, "Oh yeah, we've sorted that. Don't worry. Like, we sorted it a couple of weeks ago. It's fine." And you just know, the other day, your dog was walking back, like, from the direction of the park back to your house down the main road, and I just had to sort of quickly get into your back garden. Mum was like, "What do you mean?" Said, "Yeah, I have seen her do it a couple of times." We realised my dog had been trottling up to the park, having a run around, walking back home by herself, and getting.
I mean, at least she went home.
We were just like, what? So in the end, we just gave up, and we spent like 500, 600 quid to get this big outside dog kennel thing for her to put her in, because we were like, we cannot risk it.
No. We
put her in this kennel, and we were like, brilliant, sorted. And then my mum gets a phone call at the school from our neighbour saying, because they were obviously aware, because we'd been telling them how she was going to get under their gate. They were like, "Do you know your dog is out in the back garden running around enjoying herself?" And we were like, "What?" We get home, and she's chewed through the wooden bits on the doorway to break it to get it open. So we then had to get my granddad back round, and he had to metal line every bit of the doorway so she couldn't chew through it. And she was insane. So yeah, that was good fun.
I mean, we've only had our dog. We got Dante back 3 months ago.
Yeah.
We've already had 3 or 4 people returning him. He's just learnt how to open every single door in the house.
And the issue, like you said, is you are on you're on the edge of a main road, aren't you?
Yeah. So I took
20, 30 foot up from the main road.
I met up with Tom. We took the dog for a walk. I met with Morgan today, and he tried to do it today, but I've learnt my lesson. I kept him on his lead. So normally, get in the house, take him off his lead, go on in, and he'll run off, water, blah, blah, blah. So I take him out with Tom, let him off his lead, turn around, because I heard him jump. he'd opened the front door and he bolted after Tom. That was it. He was gone.
Oh no!
And Tom was round the corner. So you come out of my house, you go round the corner, and there's another like main road. And he was parked round there, but he was parked like round and round again. So he's like in like a little quiet bit. But the dog must have sniffed him out, because the dog literally along the main road stayed along the path, went along the path down that road, crossed, and went round. And I was like, and there was this bloke doing someone's garden, and he was just like, "Oh, I think your dog's got out." No. Oh my god! Miracle work. How did you know? He's like, "Oh, I know what those dogs are like, you know, they do get out a lot." I was like, "Yeah, thanks mate, you're really bloody helpful, aren't you?"
They are little assholes. Tinks are the magic trick, and I hated her for it. So she for a while, like she would sleep in my room with me. We just got used to it. She'd always scratch at the door to get in, so eventually she just slept in my room with me. And then she realised she could just play her way out of everything and take the piss out of me. So she would always wake me up it was pretty much about 2:30 in the morning every morning.
Good lord.
Needing the toilet, needing a wee. And normally it was alright. I'd let her out into the back garden, she'd be fine. She'd have a bit of a run around in the back garden, it'd piss me off. She'd spend 10 minutes.
Because she'd be cold at the door.
Yeah, pretty much. And then no matter what age you're at, if your house is pitch black, you don't really like to be running through the house. No. And the other issue we got was like in winter, her paws would get really muddy, and she'd sprint over cream carpets. Whereas the front door at the bottom of the front door was at the bottom of the stairs. There was only laminate. I didn't mind if she on the upstairs carpet that was like a dark blue. She got a bit of mud on that. We'd clean up. But my mum was like a bit antsy about like the lounge carpet.
Obviously.
So in the end, I was like, I'm just gonna let her out in the front garden. Like, and we didn't have any fence or gate or wall or anything. It was just open onto the road, and I always seemed like it was fine. For the first like few weeks, she was fine. She'd have a wee and she'd come back in, and then it started getting to a point where she would like have a wee and then she'd trottle off about 10-20 meters sniffing things. I'm like, come on, get in, and I have to walk out, and I could just be in boxers and a t-shirt. Barefoot. I'm like, get in. And then one day, it was the start of hell. She trottled her way out, did her wee, looks at me dead in the eyes, and I just knew straight away. I was like, "Don't you fucking dare!" And she just goes, BAM! And again, being a staffy, she was fast as hell, and she bolted it. And so, if I say to you that she got from my house to the rugby club at the end of the road,
good God,
she went, and I had again in t-shirt and boxers, barefoot, sprinting down the road after her, like to a point where I was going, "Take!" And I was shouting. I was like, "Take!" And then apparently I woke up the entire neighbourhood, and we got a lot of complaints about it.
Jesus.
And then we had to ban my dog sleeping in my bedroom because she realised she could just. Yeah, she was in.
She
I
mugged you off.
Fucking hell! Like
she had your pants down, mate.
She would just look at me, like she'd be weird, and she'd look at me, and it was almost like a smile of going like, "Yeah, you're gonna chase me now."
Yeah, my dog's not that bad. My dog, like, he if he was like he is on a walk in the house, he'd be amazing. Like literally, he pays no attention to other dogs. He pays no attention to other people. He just lies down, waits for his ball, comes back, drops it, goes off. That's it. And then you go, right, come on then, on your lead, and he comes in. Stick him on his lead, and then he starts pulling like a BOE. He pulls like mad.
Oh no!
But everyone always goes, "Are you walking him or is he walking you?" And I go, "He's walking me, and I enjoy it." I said I give him the tennis racket when I get there, and he hits the ball for me. But
does he actually?
No, obviously not, you dick. But dogs are great, but dogs can be such a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
But he is lovely when he wants to be.
He's also not very good at catching, is he?
He is. Leave him alone. He can catch things.
I say yours. His Instagram profile would say different.
Yeah, well,
you stitch him up a bit. You make him look like a mug on there, don't you?
Yeah, well, I don't really post on that anymore, to be fair. But he can catch things. He can catch things. Trust me. But sometimes, like, he just jumps for things. You're like, you're not gonna get that. You know, you're not gonna get that, and yet he's still like, huh? You know, like when you're young and in football, and
the ball's over there. Yeah.
He literally is. Like, it's like when you like, you know, like when you're young and they're like, oh, don't let the ball bounce before you like try and control it, and like someone always lets it bounce instead of just heading it, and then they like ping it up off the floor and they're like, oh no. That's literally what he's like. He's like, you're not gonna get that, and he's like, huh? No,
It is funny.
He was. This could have been the first podcast he was introduced on, but because I'm in a different room now, he's not really allowed in this room.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Well, we've got new carpet in this room, and everything's like nice-ish.
Yeah.
Nice-ish. But yeah, I did a little painting on my wall on the wardrobe. I'd show it off, but I don't really want to turn it around because I don't know what else is down there. There's a minion cushion and some rubbish bags and baby toys. And
Abby was happy enough to promote your painting from the fridge to the wardrobe door.
yeah, I got promoted. It's actually sick. Do you know what? I'm gonna risk it. Here you go. Look, you see that? Hey.
That's quite good actually. Yeah,
Yes, I mean it's not great, but I was gonna paint one behind me here just for like background, but I was like it might be a bit full on that. So I just went with the spaced out lights.
I like it.
Which originally I had them all together, and then I literally I was so behind. I moved everything. And I was like, right, as soon as I get home, I'll put my laptop ready because I've got to do a podcast tonight. Just didn't do it. Came home and I was like, I want to play Xbox. So I played a bit of Xbox, and then Abby was like, you really need to sort your laptop out because you still got to have a bath with Oscar, and then you got to like do this and that. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I literally stuck these on, and they were all just here. Yeah. So I booted up Streamlabs, and I was like, oh. So I was like, Abby, come here. I was like, right, where does it stretch? Here. Abby, put your finger there. Blue tack. Blue tack. And I was like, yes. Now it looks alright.
I like it. It was good.
Does a job. I need to change the light bulb in here because it flickers. Bit scary. Bit scary.
Especially after last week's podcast. If you haven't, guys, if you haven't checked that out, go and check it out. But,
did I tell you about the time I came in this room? I was messing about for ages, right? And we haven't used this room in like ages, like actually ages. And I always mess about going, hello, spinach! Because like, we always used to hear weird noises upstairs, and like this room used to be like a little bit weird. So I always used to like mess about with it. And I said to Abby, I was like, we were talking about it, and I said, oh, I'm going to go in Oscar's room and like play with the spirits for a minute. And I remember I came in, and I was in boxers. I went out and I was like, ooh, my bum really hurts. Like my bum cheek, not like my bum hole. My bum really hurts. So I was like, I touched it and I was like, oh yeah, that is a bit sore. So I went downstairs. Typically, I'm like, Abby, can you like check my arse? I know that sounds weird. Yeah. And genuinely, there was like 3 really like cat scratches on my ass. I've still got a picture of it somewhere, but it's a bit explicit for the podcast. I'll send you them after. But literally, there's like 3 really like you can't miss them scratches that just appeared on my ass. I couldn't have done it. It was like, look at my nails, I don't have any. True. But literally, they were like, it was so weird. And then we were like, spirits.
Spirits? What are you doing?
But a lot of it like comes from your head, doesn't it? Like if you're like alone in a house and it's quiet, you tend to listen for things. Yes. And then you like start to hear like the floorboards creak because like your house is getting warmer and colder, and you're like,
what? Floorboards in our hallway don't creak; they just crash.
Yeah, literally. But
it snaps every time you stand it. You just hear bang.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry, tired this week.
I've got a question.
Go on.
I want to ask you, and it's kind of to do with previous podcasts about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, we've had 3 guests on.
Oh, you're gonna don't ask me who my favourite is.
No.
Can I say I won't answer that?
And our 3 guests have been Yu-Gi-Oh related.
Yes, they have.
And we've had a few conversations Yu-Gi-Oh related sort of since, because I think we were both in a fairly similar position beforehand, where we're quite to the current like how Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Yeah,
we're we love Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Have you been looking more into Yu-Gi-Oh recently since having them on? Have you like
No.
What? You haven't? Okay.
So, I'm a very strange person in the sense of.
Yeah, no, you could just end it there.
Yeah, I could.
Very strange person.
I focus on one thing at a time, really. So if I'm like really into Yu-Gi-Oh, then that is what I will focus on. But at the moment, because I've just been like focused on YouTube, I'll wake up. Normally, I'll put a video onto render, then I'll upload it, then I'll go to work, then I'll come home, then I'll film a video. So I haven't really been too bothered with it. If anything, I've been looking to get rid of cards.
Is it then safe to say that you've been quite focused on the Binding of Isaac?
Yes and no. I didn't want to have the amount of Isaac videos I have coming out.
I like it.
I like it, but because the PlayStation broke, I lost the NBA series.
Yes, of course.
So now I've got the Xbox, I've downloaded NBA, but I can't get any of my stuff back. So I had a sick Ultimate Team.
So this goes in a big circle then, really, doesn't it? I see why you're trying to get rid of your Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You want money for NBA packs.
No, don't be silly. So I've got the Winged Dragon Ra. I've got two of them, right?
Yeah,
one of them. Yeah, but one of them's worth like 250, 300 quid. I'm like, it's a piece of cardboard. But here's where I am with Yu-Gi-Oh. Let me answer your question.
I mean, if you just want to offload one, I'll take one off your hands if you don't like having
No. Here's where I am with Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to get rid of any cards that I don't particularly want, and I want to collect specific cards. So, like, I want to collect Slifer's.
This is exactly what I've just done with my collection recently.
Yeah. Because I expect, like, even if I open up a drawer, let me see what I've got here. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards is the answer. What have I got? Okay, so these are all just stuff I've opened, but there's normally a Slifer knocking about somewhere. I've got loads of them. I've got so many cards in this drawer, it's so messy. Morgan, if you're watching, I've still got one of your Pokemon card things here. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Look, I'm going to move my chair for you. This is the state of my Yu-Gi-Oh collections, right? One box. Two box. Three. There's another 6 in here alone.
Are those all the booster boxes you've opened?
Yeah, well, not all of them, no. I've somehow managed to lose one of them, and it's still got all the cards in it somewhere, which is really annoying because it was the movie packs.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I had like all of those cards. That really pissed me off. I don't know where it's gone, but
I've kind of done the same as you're talking about doing at the moment recently, which is I had quite a big collection of cards, and actually mainly they were ones that I collected 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Just random packs and stuff. I had a binder full of hollows that didn't mean anything to me. They were there.
Yeah, literally what
I
I've got.
It all up, and it was worth like $400, about 300 quid.
Yeah.
And I had 2 deck boxes full of.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 deck boxes full of just hollow cards again that were quite low value. I didn't care about. So I went through the last couple of weeks. I've been pricing them up and I've sold them off. And I literally 2 days ago.
Dom has asked you a question in chat, by the way.
Chat, where's the full art painting card I got you? In the Ottoman with everything somewhere still waiting to be unpacked, Dom.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So much in that Ottoman. I've started.
Called out, bro.
My nerd. You can't see it at the moment, but I've started my nerd shelf.
Oh yeah, I have seen them.
We'll be on that, yeah. But so I'm now making a binder of just the cards that I'm interested in that I want to collect. I want to make 1 or 2 decks of cards of like actual deck that I want to have.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a binder, even if it's only half a binder, with the cards I actually just love and want to keep.
Here's my logic though, right? Hear me out. So, I collect the cards I want, and I do have decks. How often do I use those decks? Never. How often do I boot up, well, it was my PlayStation, and just like use a deck that I've made on there? Much more frequently.
Yeah. So
Dom said, kind of sus, bro.
I I could fish it out. It will take a long time. So this is something I've sort of spoken about. I don't want to make a meta get me back into get me into Yu-Gi-Oh! Big competitive time deck. There's kind of like 2 decks I want to make. One's a zombie deck.
Obviously,
I need to have it the brand.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the legendary fisherman decks. It's my favorite ever card, and I want to own those and say that I've had them. And I also want to make those online.
Yeah.
And use those.
You can. The thing is, there's support for most cards now that you could go into today's meta, but it's whether you want to go down that route.
I just want to do some actual duels. Try learning to duel with a deck that I want to have some fun with. I don't care.
More than welcome to come here and do it. I've got cards for days.
I'm gonna sort of do that stuff. But I'm just slowly rebuilding a collection. But so the one thing I'm excited about, and it should be arriving here Wednesday, is I've ordered my first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster box, which is literally one of those childhood things.
Yeah. That you've always wanted.
I've always wanted to do, and I've never really had the reason, or I either didn't have the reason to do it, or I didn't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously now as an adult, being able to spend £60 on Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, even though it's a lot of money, it's not a lot of money
at the same time.
Just to splash on yourself for a bit of a treat is I could spend that in one day going out and about doing something with Shannon,
or having a takeaway and drinking for the night. That'll do it.
Yeah. So that's quite easily spent these days. So I thought
a lot of the time you make it back.
This was kind of my thinking about. So I'm going to slowly collect the cards I want to collect, and in the same time I'm going to open booster boxes. So I've ordered the 1 booster box. I'll see how it goes anyway. But
so that's you're going to get so annoyed though if you try and get the card you want via booster box. It's like you're like yes, new card coming out, and then you open it, you get it, and then you're like right now I've got to wait another 6 months before they release something else I want.
So this is my thing. I'm not actually going for any brand new booster boxes, and I'm not going for I'm not looking at a card list and thinking that's a card I want. Yeah. I'm just going, I want that booster box.
Fair enough.
And actually, I want to give a big shout out to, and I know he'll be happy me naming him because he's YouTuber himself. Someone we went to school with called Ben Gregson, who is actually a very good competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player. He recently won an online European tournament, and he won 3 booster boxes as first prize. And he's hooking me up with a booster box in the future when they arrive.
Fair play.
Of the newest set. So thank you to him if he ever watches it. I'm loving getting back into it, and it's like one of those childhood bucket list things.
Yeah, you get back into it.
A booster box of cards, I'm like, wow.
I need to start PSAing. I think that's where I need to go, and having the cards I want, but PSA'd.
I again, something I want on a bucket list for Yu-Gi-Oh is to have a PSA 9 or 10 legendary fisherman.
Yeah. Wonder what they're worth.
But I must say, I think having the guests that we've had so far on the podcast has really
helped.
Just given me that boost and that pump to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's been really interesting hearing all the different sides of things.
Yu-Gi-Oh's great in some senses, and other senses it could be boring. But Jack, we need to get Ed on the Borderlands trilogy run.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Are we?
Please tell me you played Borderlands.
I have. I'll tell you what, hold on. A lot of moving about to happen, I apologise. My mouse mat.
Oh yes. Oh zero.
It came in a loot crate. So there you go.
Nice. Oh mate.
Oh god, this is so messy now. Oh, you've wound me up by making me move things, even though you didn't make me do it.
I think that's something. You're quite correct there, Dom. I think that's something we can do in the future.
I mean,
me and Dom fanboy over Borderlands so much. They are amazing games.
The thing is, right, because I'm getting ahead with recording and stuff, I'm probably going to start live streaming a bit more on YouTube.
Awesome.
And
look at him plugging.
I'm going to plug even further. Because I'm monetized now, I get something called Super Chat, and I can get members as well. So it's sort of like having Twitch again. But
it's Twitch affiliate almost, isn't it?
Yeah, but obviously, even if people watch the video, I'll make more money than you would on Twitch. Not saying it's about money, but if I got 1,000 views on it, I would get money. Whereas if on Twitch you got 1,000 views, you wouldn't get hardly anything. So if anybody wants to become a member today on the EdwardJg channel. It offers you absolutely nothing because I haven't thought of anything. There you go.
Is it actually available to do at the moment? Is that something
yeah.
you can do?
I can do it. Yeah. I can do that. They help you set up like a merchandise shop if you want to do that.
Sorry, as in, if I clicked on it, right, your channel right now, is that available to us as a viewer? Or
I don't know if I've set it up.
Let me have a look.
I don't think I've set it up yet.
I have a feeling you have.
No,
you haven't. So that's not set up yet.
No, I think I'd have to do it all, but you can like pick your own emotes and stuff. So I'll get some Isaac emotes in. But I don't know what I'm going to live stream. But the Xbox brings possibility because there's some games I'd like to play. Sorry.
If I become your first member, can I get some pics at your Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you're getting rid of to maybe take on?
I mean.
Within reason, I'm not feeding you too Raz. Wait, actually, excuse me. I before you get out of this and you sell the fucking thing.
Yeah.
I want my fucking Jinzo.
What one was it? Can you remember?
It's whichever one you.
Machine Menace. Machine Menace.
It's the one for the reward for.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have to hand. I'll tell you what. Do you want like a set of Jinzos from Rage of Rock? 'Cause I've literally got loads of them.
Go on then. Josh's ears have just perked up somewhere, haven't they? Josh from UV.
Yeah, probably. What did you say, Jinzo? Hold on then. Look. Let me get all of these out for you. I'm prepped. Let me see if there's any others quick.
I've not that I've held on to this at all, but you know, if I'm making a binder of cards from my childhood that you know were big and influential, and I'm getting all these classic cards and.
Oh, do you know what? I found it literally a minute ago.
It's not like a Jinzo or anything, but yeah.
Oh, where was I? Literally had it here, like probably about 20 seconds. Oh, okay, here it is. Hold on.
I almost got hit by 3 different cards to get this Jinzo. Can I point out?
Sorry.
Right. So, do
you want an original Jinzo, like a common one? Right, you've got it now. You just took too long to reply.
I did not nearly get hit by 3 cards for a common Jinzo.
No, I'm trying to find your actual one, but I've just got other stuff.
As reference for anyone, Ed did a.
It was like part of the Halloween special, which is no longer on my channel, by the way.
No, so Ed did a Halloween special video that isn't there anymore, but it was a box opening, and in it he had his face cam, and basically there was a 2 frames of a Jinzo popping up on the screen somewhere.
Yeah.
And the first person to timestamp it and say they found it won this Jinzo. And I literally spent 5 hours rewatching this video to find it, and it got to a point where I was.
Wow.
It got to a point where I was like,
obsessive.
I have to find it.
You messaged me so many times, like, when is it? And I was like, I'm not telling you. You have to find it. I probably would have caved if you carried on, but you didn't. So
I had to walk to work, and so I had my headphones in, and I was just planted to my phone, like here, looking at the screen, this Jinzo, and I just kept walking over people's driveways as they were trying to pull out the driveway.
I don't know what your Jinzo is, but I'll find you one.
If not, I will happily
take a round.
Let's try, yeah.
Yeah, how did I know that was coming? I'll tell you what I could give you, but I'm a bit reluctant to. Hold on, let me see if I've got a spare. How about this for a compromise? I'll do it on the podcast as a compromise for you. It should be in here somewhere. God damn it.
It's gonna be like, I'll give you a signed common Jinzo.
No, it's better than that.
You are a big YouTuber now, though, so.
Yeah, that's true. Big in the sense of not big at all.
I don't want monetary value. I just want a card that I'm like, you know, it has to be a holo. I'm not taking anything that isn't a holo.
Oh, I can't find it, and it's really annoying because they were all here a minute ago. Basically, I've got a spare like starter deck Yugi Dark Magician.
Oh.
I mean, if you're collecting cards, then it's a good start, right? Oh, here we go. It's got to be here.
Definitely the reprint.
It's actually not. I can prove.
Definitely
on.
Not first edition, is it?
That one's not. Oh, here you go. Don't worry, I found your Jinzo. This one.
That's the ticket. Yes.
There you go. All right. Well, fuck you, Dark Magician.
Yeah. Is that card sleeved and in mint condition?
It is actually. I can genuinely prove in a sleeve, and
he's done well.
Not even bent, mate.
If you rips it on half on the screen right now, I'm ending this podcast.
I'm tempted now that you've said it. You shouldn't have said it. I didn't. I just put it back. No. That's okay. I found it. It's fine. Right.
No, yeah, I'd like to be that person that ends this by going, "Oh, I'm only joking." I mean, I'm not joking. I want that ginger.
I'm not buying Borderlands, Dom. Relax.
I'm 4 followers away. Okay, so big plug.
Ginger Dom.
Ginger Dom 81 on Twitch is 4 followers away from affiliate, and we want him to hit that.
Why is it 81?
I don't know.
You're not 81. I know you.
I'm not 81.
Freaking dweeb.
Dom is streaming tomorrow. Anyone watching? If you're watching the VOD of this, it probably won't be tomorrow. He'll be streaming quite a lot.
I've just started going through my cards now.
On his way to affiliate, please go and help him. He's been playing a lot of the retros. Well, I believe the remakes of the retro Spyro games.
He has.
He's terrible at the games he plays.
He did do some Rocket League with someone from work, but
yeah, I did miss that.
I'm not a massive fan of watching Rocket League. Not in a horrible way to you, Dom. You do whatever you want to do, but I'm
not a massive fan of watching Dom streams. I'm not anything against you, Dom, but
yeah, well, Jack, you're not a fan of watching anyone's anything half the time. You're like the damn elusive shadow. If you get the reference, you get the reference. If you don't, you don't.
No, I have no clue what you're on about.
Only Fools and Horses.
Oh, I haven't watched that in a long time.
Well, there you go. Get with the times.
What has this podcast turned into, by the way?
Shite. It's because you started talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, you see, and we've tangented off, and then I started going through all my cards. I can flex on you with a receipt. Here you go. Have a receipt.
What's the receipt for?
Can you see the price?
Is it £2,000 or something?
Nah, it's 1,550.
What's that for?
Watch.
Oh my god.
Don't know whether watch well, sometimes, Jack, we get money.
Don't tell me you're rich without telling me you're rich.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Have you got any other questions prepared for this podcast?
No. I've got a Walking Dead case for a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Quite cool, actually.
But no, I didn't come too prepped today. It's been a long bloody week.
Like we said, I think both of us it has been a very long week.
Yeah, I mean, we could have a short podcast because we've got a guest next week, haven't we? I think.
Hopefully, yeah. We've actually got a guest next week and
the week after. Yeah.
Wait, is next week's guest the one I've set up?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, okay, yes, it is. Yes, it is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It should be, yeah. I hope so.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be good. It'll be interesting.
Well,
it's so hot in here. Bloody hell.
About it because I want to do, let's say, some number crunching on the stream. We did a little bit beforehand about this person, and we were very impressed.
Yeah, but we won't go into it. We're not here for numbers, you know.
No, we're not here for numbers.
So if you want to become a member.
We've had someone, obviously, again, someone very generously saying they're willing to come on the podcast.
They waste their time speaking to us.
They're from a slightly different avenue to, obviously, like the Yu-Gi-Oh streamers and content creators that we've had.
Well, ish.
And I'm very excited to have this person on. I feel like I've been a part of this person's
uprising,
upcoming. And it definitely has been uprising for them recently. So,
yeah, good on them.
But yeah, we are excited to have the guest on. I'm very much excited to have the guest on. I'm hoping they give me a few tips and tricks for certain things.
Tips.
Actually, they have been giving me a few tips and tricks for the last like month.
Didn't accept my friend request.
No, he didn't. Yeah. If you are watching the stream, the podcast, please don't accept his friend request. It's not worth it.
Boy, you'll get your ass beat. Yeah, not fun. So we're still not done tuning of the week yet.
We haven't done tuning of the week.
I haven't really listened to any music this week.
I was going to say I'm going to ask you first because I know mine and you don't, so I want to throw you in the deep end.
Ooh, let me pick a song off the top of my head.
Black Sheep.
My favourite Shaun the Sheep theme tune should be it, because that's all I bloody hear in this house. He's Shaun the Sheep. Yeah, that's the one. Banger.
Shaun the Sheep.
Oh, tune of the week. Tune of the week. I'll tell you what. Me and Dom have been singing a lot of Disney in work because Dave wasn't in on Thursday, so we had free reign. I'm going to put it out there. What one did we bang? Oh, that was a poor choice of words, right? Let's go with... Actually, no. Change my mind. Someone at work asked what my favourite Queen song is, so I'm going to go with Love of My Life. There you go.
Oh, what a tune.
There you go.
See, now I feel horrid for not picking a Queen song as my song because I love Queen. It's so good. However, sticking to like quite a classic rock avenue, like I do quite commonly, I like rock. I would have to
take away the R, change it to a C, and you're right.
Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson.
Did you brush over that one? I'd say take away the R and change it to the C, and you're about right.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson, which, to anyone who doesn't know, is actually just... there's no singing, no other instruments, he's just playing his guitar for about 4.5 minutes.
I like stuff like that.
I'll link you to it if you haven't heard it. He's unbelievable.
I'll tell you something I do listen to sometimes, like when I'm editing. I just listen to like jungle sounds. I know it's a strange thing to say, but like I like stuff like that. Or like
people listen to whales singing. And
I can't listen to that. That is horseshite. But jungle sounds is just like it's just relaxing. It's just like you feel like you're away somewhere, and it's nice.
Fair enough.
I still genuinely, if I ever made it like big in life, I'd just grab a tent and be like, listen, I want to go and spend a month here. Abby is dead set against the idea of having a tent.
Oh, I love it.
And I'd be like, I love tents. Tents are great.
No, the only issue with it would be like hay fever.
Yeah, but imagine, right? So you go to like the Pyrenees Mountains. You can get like a little cable car up to this like massive river, like that's in between two mountains, and you just sleep there. You wake up, first thing you see in the morning is that. That would be amazing.
So good.
I mean, even in like Cornwall, me and Joe went with my family. Obviously, my family went as well, but this is like all the Scouse lot. And like it was late at night, and we were looking out at the stars. We both fell asleep with our head outside the tent. It was very cold.
I was gonna say, as beautiful as the image is, I imagine it was fucking freezing.
Yeah, so cold. But no, I like stuff like that. I must admit, I've always been like, I like space and stars and nature.
Yeah. We went to I can't remember exactly where it was. We went Chard, I think it was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, we went to Lyme Regis. A couple of years ago, me and Shannon for a couple of nights, and like we just went camping site there, and it was so nice.
Yeah.
Lyme Regis is brilliant. I don't know if you've ever been. Like,
yeah, I think I've been on like a day trip from where I've been like camping elsewhere. We normally go Cornwall, so.
Yeah, so we just did the day trip to Lyme Regis. Chard, where we were staying, is about half an hour away, 25 minutes, half an hour away, and Lyme Regis was like sick. I like Lyme Regis.
I got no beef with any holidays like that.
I'm not one for like book reading or anything. It was more if I found a present for my mum, but we went into there's a bookshop in Lyme Regis, right? And like it is your proper classic like Harry Potter style library bookshop.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And crooked. There's just every book that's ever been printed, like old books, all like proper. Like I was finding books that were actually made in like 1924, and like I was like, what? I was like, it wasn't for me. I went there and they did like three books for 10 quid, and I got them from my mum because my mum like she's like English literature, and stuff. Good
present.
And it was like I think it was like handwritten poem books or something from like the 1920s
That's pretty
to
sick.
1940s.
Yeah, I like that.
And it was really cool. And even I was like reading them when I got back, so I was like, it's just interesting. Like, yeah, that place is really interesting. There's a tiniest little aquatics museum ever. Like it's like almost like a shed, and the guy in there is the most like passionate guy about like aquatic life you've ever seen. Like starfish. I've never seen a man like talk so interestingly about starfish like he did.
Patrick Starr, big up.
And he randomly goes, "Oh, hold your hands out. You got a starfish out the tank." Just plonks it in my hands. He's like, "Look at it. It's cool, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, you're right.
But, yeah. So but there we go. A little random thing. When lockdown's sort of all over and everything's safe, guys, please go visit Lyme Regis. It's
yeah. Maybe won't look, because I won't want you there, but.
Sure.
Never been on a holiday like that. You have missed out, Dom. I mean, still plenty of life left to go. Left to go.
Something like that.
Oh, I had a tangent to go off when you said something then.
Camping, Lyme Regis, holiday, starfish,
book,
library,
book, man speaking passionately about book.
Poems, mum.
Poems, yeah, you've done it. Right, so remember in history for A-level where you had to do like a specific topic?
Yeah.
Like your personal study or whatever. Well, I picked the Battle of the Somme.
Oh.
So I picked up a book. I'm reading it, and I get through. I don't want to name the place we live, but there was someone from the place we lived who'd written a diary from where we live and like where they left and like what they were like driving past on their way, and like I was like, geez, like, what's the odds? I've picked like a random book from Amazon.
When you say where we live, how close are you talking? Like
I'm talking like where we live.
Down the road.
Like dead on.
Oh wow! Okay.
Like name dropped.
Wow.
Even this is how I can give it away. Even with the hyphens.
What?
Think about how you write.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so there,
okay.
yeah. And they like talk about like going past the swimming pool and stuff. Crazy.
That's really interesting.
I was like, I've probably still got it somewhere, but yeah. I thought that was really cool. I was like, damn. And then all of a sudden I was interested in the book more because it's like, I wonder what happened to him. I can tell you he is dead, but yeah.
Oh! Topic we haven't even... What? So, last Sunday, how was your Easter?
Oh!
Did you do anything?
It was a little bit stressful, actually, I think. So...
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Abby's sister came round. Because it was Easter and all that. So... we were all going to walk the dog together. And it was running late, and we were supposed to go to Abby's mum's at 3. And it turned out that we didn't go to like quarter to 4, and obviously I had work at 4, so I went straight to work.
Yeah.
But no, we were about to set the dog out, and Abby had her free from chocolate egg, and I had my mini eggs egg, and the child decided to throw up in Abby's hair just before we were about to go for a dog walk. So Abby we then had to stop, change the child. Abby had to go and have a shower. So it was quite stressful actually, a lot of running around.
Classic.
But I tell you what, today he threw up a treat. Absolutely everywhere. Now, Abby was sat there and she was feeding him, so she had her top up obviously. And her belly button was full of sick, like coming out over the... so bad. I know it's gross, but that's just what it is. And like it was all over her stomach. He was covered, like everything up here was soaked. He had to have a complete change of clothes, and it stank. It doesn't always smell, but it stank of vomit. And I was like, I'm gonna have to put him down because I'm gonna throw up. Like I cannot deal with that smell.
It'll be extreme. He's only sick. You have to put him down. Jesus.
I wish. The dog loves his sick. The dog laps it up like it's blooming liquid rain. He's like, he loves it. But no,
I'm sure we had this conversation.
Yeah, we did last week.
Well. How does it always end up getting to this?
Because he is always sick. But no, Easter was okay. How was yours?
Yeah, not too bad. Shannon had been working, so she came home and just sort of went to sleep, which she kind of needs to do.
Yeah.
I popped round to my nan's, sat in the back garden. She cooked us up some dinner.
Oh, that's nice.
My mum was there, so because she's got because obviously it was quite a nice warm day actually, wasn't it? and so we sat just out on outside on the outside chairs and had a bit of dinner. And,
Yeah.
That's
a lovely day.
Which was, yeah, it was very nice. I actually went round first. I went round to my mum's house first to I'd cut the lawns for the first time this year.
Yeah.
The week before, but because it was still quite wet, the mower wasn't picking up the grass. It was cutting it and just.
Oh, I did the opposite. I took chunks out of the grass because it was too long.
Okay.
Got a few bulb patches, but I did mow the lawn for the first time the other day as well. And we had one of Abby's friends round who he works at Sanders.
Oh, okay.
And he helped us with the garden because we have like some bushes we need to get rid of, and then there's a bush that the dog hides in from the hose that he's now trimmed. But no, we're just tidying up a bit because obviously like Oscar will be moving soon, so everything's like get everything out of the way.
Baby-proof the garden.
Trying, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of not baby-proof the garden, but my mum was just having a tidy up, but she needed me to do the first lawn mow, so I did that. But it was just leaving the grass on the dead grass on the lawn. So I said next week I'll pop round. I'll give it another go over to pick up the dried up stuff. So I did that, and then went to my nan's house. Ate my dinner, absolutely covered head to toe in grass trimmings. My hay fever flared up.
Yeah, terrible hay fever. One of the worst. Yeah, beaten up by plants. It's rough. Do you want to know the really big news that's come out of this week? Haircut on Wednesday.
I thought you were about to say actually. That's nice actually. I thought you were going to say about today's actual big news.
What's today's actual big news?
An unfortunate death in the royal family.
Oh, I thought you meant DMX.
No, so yeah.
Dom told me that. Yeah, same.
About 2 hours ago, or 2.5, 3 hours ago. Yeah.
I don't care about the royal family, honestly. I think if they die, then fair play, whatever. Move on with your life.
Yeah, I'm not too fussed about.
If I get a day off work, then fine. But other than that, yeah.
Apparently, he's not having a proper funeral, so there's not going to be a bank holiday for it. I'd imagine.
Well, I don't get bank holidays off anyway, so. Cheers, Philip.
Oh yeah.
Paedophile.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I am more upset about DMX dying.
We were on about blooming conspiracy theories, like the pizza ring. Is that what it's called? The pizza ring. Basically, like loads of celebrities and stuff are like paedophiles, and they all like cover each other's tracks and like exclusively.
Yeah.
Is it called the pizza ring?
There was the whole thing, wasn't there, about the people that were selling. They were selling like furniture online for loads of money.
Yes, yeah. And it was all named after like missing children.
The dimensions of the children, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was like named after them.
Yeah, and it was like just a metal cabinet for £12,000.
Yeah.
But the dimensions of the cabinet were the same as like an 11-year-old child, basically.
Just like my gulag name. What? But like, yeah, that's so bad. It's so bad. Because I know Ellen DeGeneres got a lot of trouble for it.
Yeah.
But honestly, right.
We definitely need a conspiracy podcast. That we're gonna have to do it at some point.
mean, listen to me when I say this, right? I have had a child. There is no way in hell you can be attracted to a child. Like, it's so gross. Everything about him's gross. Like, I love him, but he's gross.
You never know, Ed. You could just have an ugly one.
No, everyone says our baby's really cute.
Your baby is really.
We were checking out at Tesco's the other day, and the woman was like, I hate babies, but yours is so cute. She's like, I see so many ugly babies coming here, but not yours. Yours is lovely. Well, I was like, thank you.
Me and Shannon have always said we're really scared to have a baby in case it's a really ugly one. Like,
I have. Yeah.
You didn't get lucky. Littlen's he is cute. You done well.
Yeah, golden spunky.
Who do you reckon the actual dad is then?
Yeah, there's a picture of a guy parachuting and says Prince Harry has won the gulag. Oh, Prince Philip has won the gulag. Oh. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, he touched kids, let's face it.
Yeah.
There's so many, like, have you ever watched, like, some of the old
So do excuse me, by the way. I'm holding an Allen key. I found it on my desk, and
I do that.
Stuff like.
There's like this old quiz show, and this bloke's been proper like gropey and touchy with this like kid, and it's so weird. Like if you watch it, you'll watch it and you'll feel genuinely like uneasy. Like why is he doing that? And he like forces her to give him a kiss and stuff, and it's horrible. Honestly, it's horrible.
The one chief, it really isn't.
He's like he like runs his fingers through her hair and stuff, like goes behind her, and he's like, oh yeah, it's gross. It's gross. It's a very British joke here to be like, you're a nonce, you're a pedo. Like it's a very British joke. But if you've ever done anything like that, you are a bloody wrong 'un.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like sometimes if like I'll dob myself in this. Sometimes if like Oscar's fully clothed, I know it annoys Abby, so I'll like put him down. I'll be like, oh yeah, and yeah, stop it. She'll come like running over like, rah, rah. But like, it's weird. It's so weird. There's some things that like, I don't know if we discussed this like a while back. I think we did. That like, there's paedophiles and stuff. And rapists. We're trying to get that to be like an LGBT thing.
Yes.
A man loving another man who are fully grown is very different to an adult. Right? An adult, someone who's like fully there. Well, they're obviously not fully there, but they're fully there to the extent that they're like, that's what I want to have sex with. To a child, like honestly, Oscar thinks that Dante's Tale is fascinating.
Children are fucking idiots.
Absolute fucking idiots. It's so gross. See, Sam said he's seen that video and he wanted to throat punch him. How uncomfortable is that video though? Oh, it's awful. I might send it you after this.
I've seen the things in the past. It's actually quite interesting. There's a community of people that are saying like they have come out and said like we know it's almost like something that's wrong with us.
Yeah.
We are attracted to children. We would never act on it. We never have acted on it.
But you don't know how true that is.
We're asking for it to be available for people to have who've got our condition, let's say, to get help. So make it so that we're not just to prove like, and also we're talking about people that have never acted on their attraction to children. Like,
oh no, Sam just put in chat, I heard one say a child can learn to love it.
Oh.
Yeah, a child can learn to love anything because they're highly influential.
Yeah.
Gross.
But yeah, so there's a community of people, and I actually thought like there must there's everything in the world basically exists in the realm of human thought. Let's put it that way. And I think I could almost come to an understanding with what this guy was saying. Was like he said he hates the fact that his attraction is towards children. He is aware. Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he's aware that it is
wrong.
Let's say a mental condition, and he wouldn't ever act on it. And I trust the fact that he's saying he would never act on it. But he was basically asking, like, he was saying there needs to be for people that have got whatever is there for him. There needs to be more assistance in helping people get out of that.
I agree with that because
the only thing is prison, and really we are sent like
it's basically
genuinely just thinking something they can't help. Obviously, if they act on it, no, absolutely not. But
so I don't know if I spoke to you about that, like Sean Atwood, I think that's his name, podcast.
Yeah.
So he said that he got sent to a max security prison, and they said if you came in, people would the first thing they would ask you is, "Are you a chomo?" So chomo was their so that was their way of saying like you're a child molester. If they found out you're a child molester, it's KOS, they'd kill you on sight.
Yeah.
And although I agree with it, but like you say, I feel like if someone can have the mental capacity to come forward and say, listen, what I have is wrong, it's wrong, and I want help to fix it, then they should get every single bit of help they need.
Yeah,
But
because it must be, at the end of the day, like, to think of it, it must be a horrible thing to have to live with, that you have, like, as a reference, let's say, so obviously I'm sexually attracted to females.
yeah.
And I'm attracted to females, and imagine
Sometimes.
if that was completely banned and you had to live your life being attracted to whatever you're attracted to, and never ever ever being able to live your life to attraction and having to withhold that. Now, I'm not saying it's right and they should be allowed to do that, obviously, at all.
It's all in context, isn't it? That's the problem.
It must be so difficult in your head to know and to not act on anything of that, but to have that as your attraction and your what is going on in your brain. And I think for reasons like that, and I think it must be so difficult for anyone who's like that, who genuinely hasn't ever acted and won't act on this, to come out and say I need help, because the minute they say that that's their thing, it's lynch mob. They are screwed, like, you know.
But it's one of those where, like, you have to approach it carefully because you know it's wrong. But then what like, and they say, oh, I won't act on it. But then how do you get someone over that? If their sexual attraction is a child, you have to show them naked children. I'll tell you. I'll give you a little story time. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. So someone I know, I won't explicitly like say my relation to them or whatever, but they had a baby. So they got with this bloke, and he waited until she was, I think it was like 5 or 6 months pregnant. So like too late, bear in mind, to like say, okay, well, I don't want this child with you now.
Right.
And he basically said, right. So they'd been together for like a year nearly, I think. He turned around to her and said, right, all right, I'm really sorry to like do this now. I'm a convicted paedophile. So I used to work in a primary school, and they found thousands, and they like, this is what the police told my aunt. Oh, do you know what, I've said it. So the police told them that they literally found like thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures of naked children on his computer, and they said to the person, "Do you want to see what he had on his hard drive?" To which they came forward and said, well, surely if I look at it, that makes me as wrong as he was to look at it.
Yeah, surely that's illegal.
And they were like, oh yeah, but you need to know the extent of it. But, you know, if someone says to me they've looked at naked children and they've got child porn on their computer, well, I know the extent of it, it's wrong.
Yeah, that's all you need to hear, isn't it? Like...
But it's the thing I really don't agree with is, like, let's say you go to prison... They always get like a name change, and I know that there's like a system where you can find out their real names, but that should not be the case.
No.
You know, you should be named and shamed for it, and like, who knows if they're going to do it again? I mean, just because you go to prison, like, just because someone's murdered someone and they get out of prison early for good behaviour doesn't mean they're not going to go and kill someone again.
So this is actually, you saying about murder is actually, I guess, a good reference point going back to these people. Let's say these people that, as their sexual orientation is paedophile. That's the best way I can call it. Is there's people out there who say, I feel like I need to murder someone. They're labelled a psychopath, but they are given mental help and stuff. Is that not within the same realm of, if someone who outrightly saying I want to murder someone, I want to kill, aren't just sent to prison, but they're given
help.
Mental help?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is different is when they've acted upon it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm obviously completely under the idea.
Yeah.
The minute something's acted upon, no, get prison punishment, absolutely. But I you know, it's jokes upon these days that you could say, oh, I want to murder it. Like, literally just the phrase, oh, I'd murder him, I want to murder him is...
I literally said it about my dog earlier.
Yeah, and it's a jokey phrase, but it's something that's now like, it's common for people to genuinely want to murder someone and actually have the feeling, and for them just to get help for it, go to a psychiatrist and all that's it. Keep an eye on them.
I think there should be help. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how we got onto this, but yeah, I just think it's really interesting watching this guy because he sat down and he said, like, basically the reason he sat down to say it, and everyone was saying, actually, in a way, fair play, it's ballsy of you to do this. And he said, I've been beaten up, I've been almost killed because of this. Like, he hadn't acted upon it, he had not acted upon it.
No.
You know, but because he had been open to someone about it in the past, he'd been beaten up, nearly murdered and stuff for it. And he said, actually, at this point, it can't really get much worse for me. I want to make this open to the public eye because there's a community of people that are going to be feeling the same, that if they don't get the help, could well act on it.
Yeah.
If it's being held inside you and flustered up and I thought it was really interesting, and it really opened up an odd conversation I never thought I'd think about.
No. I mean, the thing is as humans, a lot of people find it very hard to put themselves in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
So, like you said earlier, if I said, okay, so you love women, you can never...
I love Shannon. Only Shannon.
Okay, you believe that. Yikes, I'm only joking. Please don't come round, Shannon. I was only joking. Shannon, maybe we can make this up over coffee. But no, like you say, if you loved a woman, or you love women, and someone said you can never go near women again, I mean, yeah, you should be able to get help for all your problems.
Yeah.
And I think the consequences of murder and, like, molesting a child are two very different things. Once you've murdered that person, they don't have to live with it.
Yeah.
So you could have to go through, like, your whole life. Like, there's a lot of women coming out now, isn't there, and saying, like, that they've been sexually assaulted or this and that, and they've lived with that for like years.
Yeah.
And, like, I think it's tough, but we should probably chirp it up because it's 2 a.m.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I say we book in for our next podcast together. So it'll be in 3 weeks now to do the conspiracy one.
We should have 2 guests. Wait, so the next week's guest is
yours. Next week
you mentioned earlier, and then
Alfie.
The week after should be Alfie. Yeah.
And then we'll do the next one as a conspiracy theories one.
Sounds brilliant to me.
So we'll get into it. That's going to be a deep one.
Not only are we pre-planning the podcast ourselves, guys, but if you have any conspiracy theories you'd like to be brought up, or within this next week you want us to research, then please put it in, because then we have more to talk about.
And if you're watching the VOD, then you can always use our business email.
We have one of those?
Yeah, it's tmncpodcast@gmail.com.
Isn't it official? TMNC official podcast?
It could well be, yeah. Let me have a look. I've got it here. Hold on. It's
if you're watching the
okay,
video,
yeah. It's tmncpodcastofficial@gmail.com, but we will put it in the description for anyone who has any questions, or, do you know, even if someone's like finds something a little bit offensive and they don't want to outrightly say that they found what we said offensive, then please do drop us an email or something and we'll get back to you.
We are always open to have a discussion with
100%.
someone and chat about something that we've covered. We always skim and quickly just go over, like, quite extreme topics at times, and we're quite happy to be open about our thoughts on it and just say it how we see it as being. But we're never out there just to outrightly offend anyone.
And if you're a Karen, fuck off.
Yeah. If we don't want to outrightly offend anyone.
No.
And if you are watching and you're like, you kind of enjoy the podcast, but there's something that's really like put you off.
Yeah.
Please
message us.
We'll have a discussion with you, and
anything. But a beautiful place to wrap up number 10, double figures.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So next week we will be back, hopefully with a guest. If not, then que sera, sera. But yeah, we'll see you then, I guess.
Absolutely.
Thank you for everyone who's still here in chat, and if you're watching the VOD, thank you for getting this far.
I was going to say thank you as well to everyone for allowing us to get to a point where we're now on episode 10. Like, it's mad that we've been doing.
We do need to still upload all the old ones on here because they're all on my channel, but we'll get round to that.
Please bear with us a bit on the YouTube channel itself. There will be clips. There will be we are sorting that. we both had this incredible plan to get that sorted, and then life hit us quite mad for the last week or so.
Yeah, we'll get on
once
it.
everything as it needs to be, it will be sorted.
So thank you everyone for